back. I think continuity is important, but at the same time, we'll look to upgrade a couple of spots.
Denzel is a guy who may be there at 18, Valentine. What are the pros and cons of taking a local kid?
Yeah, I don't want to get into specific guys, but the question on the local kid, I mean, you know, there's pros and cons. I mean, I think you look at, recruiting process, what happens in college recruiting, and there's, a lot of kids that prefer to stay close to home and play where their parents and friends and family can all see them play. It's the same thing here. I mean, that part of it could be great for guys. I think the difference at the pro level is and I've been involved with it really only once, but there's pressures that go with it for guys. I mean, the pressures and distractions. I mean, anytime you're a pro athlete, there's a lot of people that want a piece of you, want your time. That's really magnified when you stay local. So there are some things those guys would have to deal with. There's great advantages and there's probably some disadvantages too. And I think it depends on who the player is, and probably, better to ask them what they think, but I don't even think they know until they get into it. I mean, the guys we've interviewed, we've asked them about it, and they all have their own views on how it would go, but they've obviously never been through it. They're just guessing too. So, no one knows for sure.
Who was the one you were talking about? The one player you had the experience with you were talking about?
We had Tim James in Miami, who was from Miami, went to the University of Miami. We drafted him in the first round and had him there. And we had a good team, so he wasn't playing a whole lot. And, it was great for him having his family around, but at the same time, there are some things that are difficult. When I was an assistant there, and Tim's a guy, you're spending a lot of time with out early before games and stuff, and it brings a different level of scrutiny and pressure, I think, not only from your family and friends, but from guys like you. I mean, it's one thing if your first round pick comes in from somewhere else and he's not playing a whole lot or whatever. What happens to those guys is, you guys just don't cover them at all. But if you're the local guy, it becomes the story of, why isn't, whoever it is playing, and it's in there every day and the guy's got to read it and everything. So there's definitely pressures that come with it. There's no question about it. And like I say, I've seen it on one occasion, and it's not easy.
You've got the two fairly